Right. Here we go. In three, two, one. So I've got this Russian friend who's a sound engineer. And a check 1 2. A check 1 2. Always bringing comedy, delivering entertainment frequently, giving hope infamously, just kicking it like most normal, outstanding people, quietly revealing satire, trivially usurping volatile whack jobs, and xenial yahoos. It's Zaboys!
Oh, it is very good to hear the applause of all you out there listening to us on the Zaboys radio show. Welcome back after a big time 4-year absence. Me, Positive C, James Thorny Thornquist, and Will the Violator Shotwell. We're back. We're back on the tandem bicycle, the 3-person tandem bicycle that is podcasting because
I call the rear.
Yeah, it's pandemic season. It's pandemic time. So what better way to spend this time than talking to each other in individual houses? Hi, everybody. I am Positive C, Chris Edwards, and this is Zaboys. Shout out to the intro song right there from Champagne Poppers, really popping it in right there. Will, you know these guys, right?
I do. Actually, they're very, very good friends of mine. Used to hang out with them a lot back in the day. And they got into doing some DJ stuff. Alex Mikulik is the other member, and Carson Johnson are the two champagne poppers. And I'm telling you, they got this down, and they've even been featured. You know, by the way, did y'all know that Shaquille O'Neal is actually a DJ?
Yes, I did know that. He's been like a DJ since the 80s.
He has used their music before.
Oh, really? It's a Big Shaq
Yeah.
Diesel uses champagne poppers.
Yeah. He digs it. So a big shout out to those guys for hooking us up with that track right there, man. And I think it's going to just be fantastic for us. Again, huge shout out to Carson Johnson for giving us that and allowing us to use it.
It's got a great
guys.
sound to it. It's got a really good, like, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, like those guitar riffs. It got a real rockabilly kind of focus to them, and then you throw that little bit of EDM in there, and it just really modernize it. And I'm loving it so far.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. It's a good mix of, you know, you hear some good guitar riffs and some rock, and then all of a sudden it drops into that EDM part, and I mean it's a banger.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we're banging right now. We're banging right along. We've been kind of in the dark with each other for a little long time. I think when you really break it down, we haven't spent a lot of time with each other recently. At least this past year, past little bit. I know we've been kind of separated, at least from you guys. I know you, Thorny, and Will. You guys have probably spent more time with each other than I have with you guys.
Holding hands.
We haven't really been spent any time with our listeners, people who remember us from back in the day when we were just doing this with DWB and Hutch, or if you listen to us on Talk Radio 1190 for those shows. The Zaboys radio show has been around for a bit, and we are really happy to be doing this again. It's a great creative outlet for all of us, and we have I think a lot on our minds for the past 4 years. Can we start out like that? Can we just
definitely.
like break away from kind of what we will do eventually, which is get into all this pop culture and all that stuff, and just kind of talk about us for a little bit?
Yeah, definitely,
I'm totally down.
I think though that you should start it off, my man. I mean, you're the one that kind of captained the ship back in the day. So what have you been up to is the question.
Well, yes, I did man the captain's swivel chair at one point in time. I would like this to not be a captain swivel chair situation, though. Let's go ahead and consider this the round table of podcasting excellence. Let's do it like that. Let's do it like a whole round table situation.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's been weird because if you guys out there don't know, I actually left Zaboys in kind of a strange way. I was in the beginnings of starting a different type of career that I didn't think was gonna actually ever happen in music. I've been trying to do music for a while with different bands playing drums, but I was offered the opportunity to front an established local band called Forget Conformity, And at the time, I took it and ran with it, and didn't. I don't know. It kind of took over my life for a second.
Well, and still, I remember even whenever I met you, you had always said you wanted to front a metal band, and you had the opportunity to do it. So I personally don't blame you. Like, I think that was a good opportunity for you to take.
It was, and in hindsight, probably could have done both Zaboys and Front for Conformity. But at the time when I was first joining that band, there were a lot of things told to me that the band was going to do that eventually we didn't end up doing, or we ended up doing like 2 years later.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a lot of stuff that member changes actually put to light, and I was able to kind of take more control over the band day-to-day stuff, and found out that, well, we were actually behind schedule more than I was being told when I first joined the band.
Yeah, well, we got to witness some of those too. I mean, we were pretty good close friends with Forget Conformity as well, so we got to see that change. But what were some of the things that you thought were moving faster that you didn't really see come into play until later?
Oh, well, first and foremost was the getting signed thing. These guys were, at one point in time, a couple of labels were supposedly looking at them, and it just never came to fruition. And the labels that were actually serious about them were small labels, to the point to where whenever Jonathan, the drummer, started No Hope for Oleron, we had as many Facebook likes or even more sometimes than some of the labels that were offering for conformity contracts or whatnot at the beginning. So it really wasn't worth it. And touring, that was the other thing. I was being told that we were on the precipice of touring a lot more and going out of city and state a lot more than we ended up doing at that point in time, because the members actually weren't ready for all that.
Yeah, but you did eventually do that, right? Y'all went up to California at some point, I think.
Yeah, that was really fun. That was one of the most fun experiences the past 4 years of my life, was going out to San Diego and traveling the Southwest United States with those guys, and playing to nobody and somebody and like 8 people and then 15 people, and just the different stops and different relationships that we made and friendships that we made on the road. That was really cool. That was amazing. I never thought that I would experience something like that. It definitely changed my view on a lot of things when it came down to music, honestly.
So correct me if I'm wrong. When you came home from that trip, did you or did you not walk into your room and find Will sleeping in your bed?
Yeah. Yes,
Group facts.
That
I
was...
apologize for that, straight up, because you were not supposed to be there that night.
Everybody said you were still gone for like another 2 days, and you come walking in, and I think I was sleeping. No, I think I'd gone home already, actually, but
it was a full house. I remember walking in, and it was full of humans. There was nothing but humans all around, and just getting out for this, like the last stretch of that travel was really hard too, because it was from Abilene to freaking DFW.
God, yeah.
Feels like
that was such a treacherous little trek. And then so getting in and hauling a suitcase, my bag in, I'm like, yes, I get to rest. I get to plop down in my bed and open the door, and it's Will and Morgan in my bed,
sleeping in your bed.
And I'm just like, well, you know what? Screw it. And I just get on the couch and I just start watching stuff on my laptop, and I go to sleep. But yeah, but that was so I joined Forget Conformity in 2016, August 2016. We don't go on that tour like that until the summer of 2018.
Yeah, 2 years later.
Yeah, 2 years freaking later. And we were, I wasn't necessarily fooled, but I was definitely kind of honeypotted into doing more with them solely than I should have. I should have been able to diversify my portfolio of creative outlets.
Well, there's that the little factor of, something new and exciting always happens. And then typically that's where the human brain wants to go, and it wants to start paying more attention to that. And it was just one of those moments where you probably got a little too excited about it and didn't think about how to actually balance and juggle everything.
Yeah, so, we all do it. Hell, I've done it how many times now?
I do it all the time. Ask my wife.
Yeah.
Well, that actually kind of goes into something else that happened to me this it's passed a little bit since last time we've done this Zaboys radio show. I have
Mhm.
been diagnosed with bipolar disorder.
Mm.
Yeah, that has been a big life change that I've had to accept
Yeah.
about myself. It actually, I think, explains a lot in my life, especially when I was a younger man and I made some kind of rash decisions in some things that I did. I can
Yeah.
definitely maybe tell those were some manic episodes that I was in the middle of, not knowing what they were and acting in these manners of, just uncontrolled kind of, I can't even think of the word, and my inhibitions were definitely lowered during those times, as I would say, even without the use of drugs and alcohol. I mean, it was just that kind of thought process. But then, like getting that diagnosis, learning a little bit about myself, I was able to kind of realize those things and kind of, I think, more take control of my life.
Yeah.
Good.
No. That's a big step too in that situation. A lot of
Yeah.
people get diagnosed bipolar and they just instantly freak out and they don't take the help that they can get and things like that. And especially very severe bipolar people, But it's a scary life-changing diagnosis, So it's one of those things that you kind of wake up and all of a sudden people are telling you, "Hey, there's something wrong, quote unquote, with you," and it freaks you out.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
I just want to say that I thought you looked pretty awesome whenever you had your X-Man looking thing going on your beard for a hot minute.
Oh yeah, the white streak in the beard that your
The white streak.
medication caused.
I kid you not. I
Yeah.
honestly thought that was sexy.
Yeah,
I still have it technically. Technically, I still have the white streak. I have it. I actually have that there in memorandum for a couple of people. One person that I lost, but in kind of memorandum of that situation. So, as some of you guys know, I manage a restaurant called Sprout Spring Rolls and Pho in North Arlington. Tis a great place, guys.
It is.
I know Will has had it. Thorny, have you had it actually?
Yeah, I used to come in for spring rolls before I ever actually knew you, and loved them, man. Like they're light, they were a great little meal. Like they'd hold you over well, so I always dug it. But after a while, I just had association with an ex-girlfriend, so I quit going because of that.
Oh, well, that kind of sucks. Yeah, you don't want to do that, ruin the spring rolls for you.
Exactly.
But, my 2020 started out, so everyone's 2020 was really messed up, right? Everyone had to deal with coronavirus, which messed up my restaurant quite a bit.
Yeah.
There was the Black Lives Matter stuff, so everyone's hypersensitive and hyper focused on things when it comes to social issues. You have everything that had to do with the election, so politics are huge and they're dividing people and everything. My 2020 started in January, 6 days in, with the tragic death of two of my employees, Martha Garcia and Samantha Petters, in a tragic, accident, tragic car wreck on their way home from Colorado. And that was before Corona. That was before 2020 was an adjective that means terrible. You know what I mean? Like that's what it means now.
Before it was a shit fest.
Basically, and it started out like that, and that's kind of what my white streak in my beard that I keep now because of my medication. I keep in honor of Martha because she had these natural gray streaks, white streaks in her hair, and this little thing on my face is kind of like a little piece of remembrance I'll always have of those people that were very meaningful in my life.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Like it's always great to find ways to remember people like that, especially people we held close. What were they like? I mean, I hear you talk about them. You mentioned them a lot. I've never actually asked you what were they like.
Oh, I mean, you couldn't ask for two better humans in their own different ways. Like Martha was one of the hardest working individuals I've ever met in my life. Like she immediately got to Sprouts and made that place better by her work ethic, her professionalism. The stuff that she wanted to change about Sprouts was stuff that as a manager I probably should have been thinking of in general in the first place. She made me a better manager by allowing me to worry about other things other than everything. Like she should have been my assistant manager at different points in times. Like there are so many things that she did to help me and Steven. Unbelievable human being. And then Samantha, just a sweetheart. Good Christian girl, always kind of thinking of others. instead of herself, always thinking of the customer first. All of her complaints about things that we did at the restaurant were always complaints based off of what the customer is probably going to think or what the customer needs in reference to having a good time, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. I'm happy you remember them so highly.
Yeah, it's great. And then I lost Shu for a bit. She survived that wreck. She was with them. She is doing very well now after a traumatic brain injury. So like that's incredible. She got her memory back. She's working on being a productive member of society. She should have died in that car wreck. And that her recovery and her perseverance, honestly, I think about a lot in reference to any time I feel like I'm having issues or having troubles. I think about everything that she had to go through, and she fought back and is driving now after like maybe being weeks away from being put in a mental institution. So it's like you can recover, you can make it through things, you can fight and get through as much trauma as has been brought upon you. It can be done. It's you're not totally in the dark all the time. And so that's kind of what I've learned a little bit. And in that, I'm off medication when it comes to my bipolar disorder. I've come off med, and for the past few months I've been very, very stable. So nice. I kind of put that in that same little realm of, you know what, I can do this. I can work through things. I cannot be a slave to a diagnosis. I can be a productive person and persevere. Yeah. So that's been the past 4 years of Positive C. I'm back to being Positive C, baby. Life is pretty good.
Awesome. Even after how negative 2020 was, man. That's
Ooh, yeah.
Goodness.
But I'm glad we're back doing this. This feels good. This feels right. And I hope you out there are enjoying what we're doing right now as we go over the past 4 years of absence for the Zaboys radio show. Thorny, I think when we come back, you should take over. Let's talk about you and see what you've been doing over there in the green room. As you've discovered yourself, maybe. This is the Zaboys radio show. Thank you guys for listening, and come on back as we discover more about ourselves.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
And we're back with the Zaboys radio show. Thank you very much out there in podcast listening land. I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves out there as we go over where we've been the past 4 years. We've been absent. We have not been in your ear holes, making you laugh, making you cry, making you think. We've been doing our own thing. And I know that, James, you've been doing your own thing over there in the Twitch land. In fact, I think we're on Twitch right now, right?
Yes. Yeah, I am actually streaming what we are calling episode 0 right now, just so that we kind of have an idea of how video would work for this. This was always kind of a goal back when we started the show, and we never quite made it there because
we had a lot of goals back then.
We did, and the idea though was that we wanted a multicam setup, and that was very new to me. And weirdly enough, with being separated like this, it's a lot easier, really, because most computers have a webcam now, so we really could all be on camera right now. But still, since we're just getting things off the ground and testing it, right now it's just me and Will's up in the corner. But
I guess y'all can probably see me.
Yeah, but yeah, like you said, that's they can see you just a little bit because of the way it's set up right now, but. But
I have myself in the dark, so
exactly. But no, the last 4 or 5 years, man, that we've been gone have been like you said, very interesting. A lot of it was me diving into content creation for YouTube and Twitch, really trying to get photography rolling because it was always a hobby. So I've actually done a few paid jobs in photography now, which was really cool, and. It's more of like a free market thing for me. Like, I'm not one of those guys that's like, okay, I'm gonna charge you $2,000 for the set. I'm more like, let's work together and I'll shoot you whatever what looks good, and then you just tell me what you want to pay me. And It's been an interesting system, really. I mean, I don't think very many businesses work that way anymore in this world, but I don't know. Maybe it's time to bring it back.
They typically try to gouge you for as much as they can, and it sounds to me like you're just saying, "Hey, I'm just want to do this, and you can pay me whatever you want."
Yeah,
and as long as it's fair.
A big focus I think I've learned in these past 5 years of my life is that I like to learn, and so if you give me the opportunity to learn something new, I'm gonna run with it, and if I have a good time with it, odds are I'm just gonna keep doing it. But if it's something I hate, then I'm gonna be like, yeah, I need some kind of compensation if you're gonna make me keep doing this.
What kind of jobs did you get? What kind of paid jobs did you get?
A lot of band photography, a lot of stuff for our buddies in September Moon. A little bit for Adam Marie. Did a job for Adam Marie. Did that one kind of pro bono for him though. It's just like, no, this is a learning opportunity for me, and you guys just go ahead, use what you want to use. And then just sometimes I'll go out and do nature stuff. I've been trying to get more live photo shoots and model setups, but I'm just not one of those guys that's good at like approaching people and being like, hey, well, let me take your photo, because it's just creepy in my mind.
It's okay. So yeah, it's kind of always kind of creepy when that's approached. But if you do it the right way and your portfolio shows that you're not, just that guy who's taking pictures of women just because they can, then I think with your personality, you come across as genuine enough.
Yeah, that's something I've been told a lot lately in these past couple, probably the last 2 years. A lot of people are just like, oh, you're just a friendly guy, you're down to earth, and like even today someone told me that they were like, everybody makes, like, you make friends with everybody because you just don't judge people. And I was like, oh, thanks, but I'm judging you right now. No, I'm kidding. But
what's the weirdest thing that you've had to go out and take pictures of, like paid or at least asked to do, rather than just
boudoir yet? Have you been asked to do a boudoir?
No, I haven't done anything like that. The September Moon photo shoot in the middle of the fucking nowhere road was an interesting day, because we were all sweating through our clothes on the hot asphalt road, dodging traffic for 3 hours or so.
That was so much fun, though.
It was. Don't get me wrong. It was one of my favorite shoots.
Because we would sit there and wait. Car.
Yeah, it was like playing hockey in the street. Yeah, it was just like, car, game on.
Oh God.
It was greatness. I loved every second of it.
I was very lucky to get to accidentally star in one of the, or I guess co-star, I guess is what we should say, in one of the September Moon music videos. Wasn't planning for that to be a thing. Figured I would just be somewhere in the background like the first one, and somehow ended up with their female lead just dancing and having a good time and lighting bonfires, and complete accident. But
that means technically all three of us are in September Moon video.
Yeah.
It's true. So Thorny, I have to ask, how did it feel to throw the Molotov cocktail onto the bonfire? Because I mean, that's big features in that video as well.
I would love to
jealous to do that.
I would love to tell you it felt awesome, but honestly, I felt like the biggest doofus, because you get one shot at that, and when you throw it the way I threw it, because everything we were working with, the only light half of it, we got to make it look good. It was just such a, in my book, a sissy throw. Like I just did not throw it the right way, and it's the first time I've ever thrown a Molotov cocktail in my life, but it was like, I didn't get the arc, or that you see in like a movie. There wasn't a breakage or anything. It was just like a huh, and then just a fire, and I was like,
very anticlimactic.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
I'll say Jag, I think, did a really good job of making it look like you were still a badass.
Yeah. He's one hell of a great editor, man. But besides that, I mean, these past couple of years, I gotta say that if we want to do a quick summary, I'd say I'm still single. I still dislike dating apps, because if you guys remember, that was always my thing back in the day, was dating apps suck, dating so hard, blah blah. I still work for the same ridiculous company, and I still live in the same place. And we as a whole have all dealt with a political reign of the narcissist C-list celebrity. We've let media divide us. Leo won an Oscar. Harambe got shot. We had Pokemon Go, fidget spinners, the Women's March, the Me Too movement, Black Lives Matter. We proved that Tom Brady is the GOAT. Texas froze over and hell wasn't far behind it. And slang words that have developed in the last 4 years were lit, woke, yeet, fam, full sin, sus, and simp. Plus a whole lot of other stuff.
I still don't know what sis is.
A simp or cis? Cis is...
If cis is your quote unquote normal.
Yeah, cis is a way of saying like I believe it's supposed to be short for systematic. But sus, it comes from the game Among Us. Like, yo, bro, you're suspect, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, and then simp is a guy that way too complimentary towards women to try to get laid. So the nice guy syndrome.
Simp's been around for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was the same thing as Metro.
No. This is nice guys syndrome. Guys that are really sweet to girls and then they are like, why won't you sleep with me? I'm nice to you. Oh, what's wrong with you? And it's like, yeah, that makes you a simp.
Not very nice.
Yeah, exactly. But
slang culture is so weird. I hate to go on this tangent for a second, but that simp has been around in black culture for years. That is a word that's been around because you have pimps and you got simps. Like that's been around in hip hop for years, for like 15, 20, 30 years. And just now people are just getting on it. It's crazy.
Well,
God, slang culture is so weird how things can be just taken from someone's culture and then put on a pedestal and made to look like it's a new thing.
Yeah. Well, it's the kids grab them on different. Like we had, tight. We couldn't say the T or else that was not cool. We had, man, that's bomb. We had, fleek for a while. And it's like, where do these words come in from? But you said they all come from the past already. Mm-hmm. So they're not original. It's just every generation that starts using them thinks, we're original. Nobody understands this. And it's like, yeah. And then you get back in the history books in like 1850, there was some jackass that was like, I say, look at that simp over there. Why? He's got some real ragged teeth. Anyways, I'm gonna go shit in the chamber pot.
Ragged Tooth Simp. Oh yeah.
That sounds like a rap name right there. Ragged Tooth Simp. No, but really, I mean, like, all those things I used to complain about and all those weird things that drove me nuts, I've come to realize in these past 5 years were really unhealthy. So for me, it's been just learning to be more centered and to quit focusing on all that. Like quit worrying about where I thought I was supposed to be and just embrace where I'm at. And so that's led me into all these new projects and it's what brought me and said back into the idea of like, let's do Zaboys again. I'm down. It's what's got me making YouTube videos just for the fun of it, because it's not going to monetize. It's hard as hell to monetize on YouTube now, and it's hard to monetize on Twitch. So I was like, let's just do this because it's something to do, and let's have fun with it. So that's where I've been.
Now, will you plug your stuff? Because where can anyone that hears us right now find you on like Twitch and YouTube? Because I kind of know, but
I also want to know what kind of games you're playing as well.
Yeah.
Because if you're sitting there just playing The Sims, I'm not going to give a damn. But if you're sitting there,
I bought The Sims.
Maybe I would.
I bought The Sims and I thought about streaming it, and I played it for about 2 days and went, God, this game is so boring. Like, why did I love this as a kid? And it's just because I wasn't an adult and I wanted to build a fantasy world of being an adult. And now that I am an adult, I'm like, it's like, why do I want to build a house in this game? I should be renovating my own house.
Yeah, why do I want to do a fake life where things are realistic when I have to live this life I'm already living anyway? That's why Grand Theft Auto is great, because you can do all the crap that you really want to do in your real life in video game world. Yeah, exactly.
So the game I stream the most on Twitch is called Dead by Daylight, and the premise is that there's four. Yeah, it's a very, very. It wasn't well put out there, but it's got quite the little community. Now it can be a very toxic community, but what game can't? But basically, the idea is you play as like a serial killer or like movie monster, and you're hunting down 4 different survivors, and they're the other 4 players in the game, and they're playing against you to get out and escape. And so it's it's a fun little game, but it has its toll. So now I'm kind of looking for something else to start doing on the side there. And then,
Oh, I was just saying, I saw that. Isn't that the same? You made a video the other day that you put on YouTube. That was that game, right?
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
about
It was
breakdown system.
yeah, it's a tutorial. It was a tutorial that everybody has done. So anyone who's created content for that game and become a content creator about that game has done that video. So my take was, let's be a little sarcastic and stupid about it and do like a sales pitch that everybody already knows, so no one would ever buy it. But if you want to see that video, it's on YouTube at _gaming. Just search that on YouTube. And if you want to see where we're streaming right now, it's just twitch.tv/almisothorny. Hence the name rebranding. Instead of Brainbox, I renamed everything or rebranded everything into Thorny.
Oh, me so thorny.
Yeah. You know, yeah, exactly. People seem to love it. They get a kick out of the name, and it's funny because everyone thinks it's based off the song when really I kind of based it off of a joke from an episode of New Girl, where there's a character named Coach, and his real name's Ernie, and he has the email address almisoernie. And they're like, hey, you can't use that as an email address. And he's like, but wait, you're a teacher. I guess if you got hired doing that, then whatever, you know? And so I was like, oh, almisoernie, that'd be a great name. And I went, almisothorny, duh. It writes itself.
It did. It did write itself, and it's better than me so Ernie.
It just plays better because the T, if you miss the T, you're like, wait a second, what?
That's what I liked about it. It could be accidentally mistaken.
Are there any other projects that you're wanting to start on while you're? I mean, we're doing Zaboys now, but is there anything else on the plate for Miso Thorny?
I was talking to Will about this actually last weekend, or maybe 2 weeks ago. But you know, personally, I've always thought Zaboys is bigger than just a podcast, and you know, in the past we used to write skits that made us all laugh at least, and some of those have formulated into huge things. And so I was thinking, I was like, man, I feel like we should be doing more. We should be doing as a group content creation. I feel like, you know, honestly, we could be an improv group even, or like a 3-person stand-up troupe would be hilarious. But those are all far down the road. I don't plan on trying to get everyone on board with those ASAP. And I mean, big picture wise, I would love to find a way to bring more movie creation here into Texas, but I have no idea where to begin with that.
Oh God, yeah,
But
right.
It's always been a dream of mine, though. It's like, you know, I know everybody's like, California, that's the place to go. Texas is horrible about movie creation. It's like, why? We've got land. We've got plenty of buildings that you could make movie studios in. Why wouldn't you do it here? Like, the taxes are lower as a business. I mean, it's hot.
Full on
but,
California, this Texas. Woo!
Yeah, but I mean, it's hot in California at certain times of the year too. It's hot in Georgia. Georgia's got a booming, you know, movie industry now. It's fucking cold in Canada, and they've got a film industry now. So
that's very true. You have some good points there, Thorny. Maybe we should be forefront and spearheading this Texas movie renaissance, I guess.
Right here in DFW, we got a studio already. They were just dumb about how they ran it, and so it's kind of a joke.
Well, we are no joke here at Zaboys. Thank you, Thorny, for filling us in where you have been the past 4 years. I think it's the Violators' turn next. Will, you've had a roundabout time this past 4 years. You've done some pretty cool things that we can't wait to hear about, and we can't wait to give you more content here on Zaboys. I don't even know what to call our website. We don't have one yet, but we will one day. Not yet. Once it is, it'll be called zaboys.com or something like that. You'll be able to find us there. You'll be able to find us on Facebook and other places soon, and maybe Podbean again. Yeah, just Google it. You'll find us. Don't worry. We love you, and we'll see you in just a bit.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
And welcome back. We have had such a fun time here getting to know each other across the microphone because we're away from each other right now. I don't know how it sounds to all you listening out there, but we are in 3 separate areas of the Metroplex. I am over in Grand Prairie. Thorny, you're in South Arlington, right?
I am.
And Will, you're North Arlington,
Yep,
correct?
he's in North.
I'm in North Arlington, and I'm pretty sure we all have 3 different internet connections. So
I think so too, yeah, because we were mid-pandemic, so we're doing this a safe way for a while. Maybe one day we'll be able to get back together in the same room and hang out at Violating Airwave Studios, which I'm going to turn it over to Will right now because he's got a lot of cool stuff on that he's had on his plate this past 4 years.
Man, I'll tell you this, I'm not really even sure where to start about what's been happening to me the past 4 years.
Let's start at the very beginning, like the day that we said Zaboys is over. Let's start other stuff.
Well, that was kind of right around the time that I basically took over another job, and I got hired to go work at Total Traffic and Weather Network. And rather than getting paid $8.25 an hour, they paid me a total of $15 an hour.
Money,
big
man.
money.
Yeah, and it was excellent. I loved every single bit of it. I'm still doing it to this day. I even got to a point where I was the senior producer before some of the people that actually were working there longer, because I got requested by the previous senior producer to do the job. So I'm a little proud of myself on that one.
Yeah,
should
definitely
be.
give you a pat on yourself on the back on that one, dude.
Yeah, and I did a lot of things over there too. I'm just gonna brag on myself for a hot minute because I don't do that very often.
Toot that horn.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Toot toot. But yeah, got to do all that. For real, I did end up in a position of a little bit of power and was able to make some changes over there. And my boss actually agreed to them and listened. I never got a raise, but
It happens to the
Wait,
best
so
of
you
us.
brought concerns to your boss, and they actually did something about it?
Right? That never happens.
Oh, wow. Whoa, buddy. Wow, you work for like the Godsend company.
It's his boss. His boss is a cool guy.
Dude, my boss, John Dormy, is one of the best, most awesome people I've ever met. Like, I've worked for some great people, but this guy, hands down, has taught me everything I know about radio, and he has been a blessing in my life. And,
Nice.
And just been there, and he's the reason why I'm happy doing what I do.
He's been a mentor for you.
Oh, absolutely, he's been a mentor. I have also played for 2 bands. Mondo Solace and the Damn Band, and September Moon. After Mondo Solace broke up and all that, I originally was just going to be a part of September Moon for 1 gig when Daniel was going to ask Catherine to marry him. And that's a whole other huge story that we can get into in a little bit if y'all want to talk about that.
Oh,
but
WWB.
The fact that it turned into something more than it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be a one-time thing, and then all of a sudden, it was like, we can actually do this. Why don't we keep going? We should.
I did not know that was just supposed to be a one-time thing at one time.
That whole thing was supposed to be a one-and-done show, and then look what it's turned into now. Like, for those of you that actually know about September Moon and have ever seen these the shows that we used to do, and they're still doing.
Yeah.
They're fantastic. So,
4 years ago, we were playing solos of Catherine and solos of Daniel, and then duo songs, and now all of a sudden it's full band, and they're one of the rising country bands, quote unquote, again in the area. Yeah,
and so that has been another huge thing that I've done, and then the biggest and most important thing that I've done. I got married, guys.
Woo!
Yeah, you
awesome.
Did get married. I was there.
Yeah, we were up. Oh, yeah, what a night! Jeez,
it was a long day.
Oh yes, it was.
Fantastic evening. Thank you, Chris, for. Here's my wife right here. I know y'all can't see her. Well, maybe
they can
a
little bit.
Yeah, a little tiny bit.
If she comes back, I can get it to where everybody can see her.
Here, Morgan, come back.
Show off the ring, Morgan.
Come back and show us that ring real quick. Put you on the bigger cam now. Oh, go higher, go higher. There you go. Yeah, dang. Look at that rock. Woo.
Bling, bling. Every time I come around your city, bling, bling.
But yeah, guys, I got married, and I'll tell you, try it.
Try it. Yeah, I've been trying for how many years now? Still hasn't quite happened, but it's okay. Let's
When someone offers you marriage, just say no. No, I'm kidding. I'm not anti-marriage. Not anti-marriage.
No.
Well, okay. No, on a serious question, Will, how has that worked? You know what I mean? Because I mean, you and Morgan were friends for so long before that, and before any of this happened,
acquaintances
and
even before that.
happened. Like, how has being married, like, been when it comes to how you guys just connect?
Well, I'll be honest here, man. Like, I honestly, I think that the fact that we were friends long before we even considered dating each other was a huge part of why this worked out. Because, and she's over here, she might want to say something here in a second.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why I think it worked was because we just already knew each other. We already kind of knew some of the good and bad things about each other just from being friends. Without actually being in the relationship. So the thing I like the most is I don't have to try to even hide anything because she already knows everything. What do I have to hide now?
Yeah.
Like, I don't, that's not a temptation that I have.
She's been there for half your dumb decisions.
Oh, she's been there for 99% of my dumb decisions. She's watching me do those dumb decisions. She's the one that also saw me run down the road naked.
There you go.
Also not approved of quite a few of those.
She tells me that I'm being an idiot all the time. Well, not all the time, but she'll tell me when I'm being an idiot, and I'll usually realize, you know what? I better listen to my wife. She's probably right.
I think it's pretty accurate about all the time.
When you get married, ladies and gentlemen, listen to your spouses, because if you don't, you're in for a world of trouble.
So back with September Moon, that whole bit, did you ever, because I mean, like, pull back the curtain, that's how I met you, was the idea that you played bass.
Yes. Oh, that's yeah, there's a whole story between me and Chris about the whole reason why we even know each other.
Yeah, it's because in a class project, you said you can play bass. And I was like, wait, I'm looking for bassists then. So we just started talking. And it was...
You realize I lied during that, right?
Yes. Well, we discovered that later on. that technically the bass playing wasn't exactly the strongest suit that you had at that point in time. But you had other characteristics and qualities that ended up, later on working out. But think about that. You go from that to 6 years later playing bass in a pretty successful country band. Did you ever really consider that as something that you were going to be able to do?
I hate country music. I played in a country band, but it was so much fun. It was worth it.
Say it never grew on you? You didn't find yourself listening to more country music afterwards?
I found myself turning on 95.9 The Ranch every damn time I get in the car. But it's just, in my opinion, it's really funny. And even my mom thinks it's hilarious that I played in a country music band. Or because I have told her I hate country music time and time again. And I've told a lot of people that, and there's a lot of people that'll vouch for it.
It's part of growing up, man.
Even whenever I was playing with Mondo, the only reason why I played with Mondo was because our friend Tim said that he was like, hey, we're looking for a bass player. And I was like, well, I know how to play a G, C, and a D.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah, that's about it. That's
unless you're playing speed metal, then you might need another chord in there, but
but that was the whole reason. And even the time that I went out there to go play for Mondo, the first band that I was in, I wasn't actually planning on going that day. Something just said, go get in the car and go. Just like whenever I stopped to hang out with you and Hutch, Chris, whenever you asked me to come hang out with y'all, way back in the day, whenever we were doing ACE or a Chance Encounter, it was just a moment as I was driving past, I decided, well, why not? And I did.
Yeah.
It's called intuition.
Kind of put the fuck it.
What it turned into.
It's like great things come from it.
I honestly didn't know if there were going to be lifelong friendships in with that whole situation. I mean, you just hung out with Hutch last night there, Will.
Yeah,
What do
you
you
did.
think about that? Like we still know these people and that are so very crucial in our lives. And I think around, I guess, like 2013 is when we all kind of met.
13, 14-ish, yeah.
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 Well, it's saying that they're still very important. I mean, to some regard. I mean, some have come, some have gone, and that's fine. You know, that happens in every group of friends. But it's crazy to see just how many of us are still working with each other on things and still hanging with each other.
Well, yeah. I mean, we've all been on the periphery of each other's lives, like no matter what we've kind of done. You know what I mean? Like even the times where I haven't seen you guys in a long time, I'm still paying attention to what you guys are doing. You know, that's the one good thing about social media is that even, excuse me, like the friends that are far away from you, or even that are just, you know, you just don't see very often, you're able to keep up with to a point and kind of live vicariously or see what they're doing, you know, and not lose complete touch with people. I will say that that's a positive social media. And the fact that for a while, you know, September Moon was working with No Hope for Alderaan. I was living with Catherine and Daniel. So that was, you know, keeping everyone together, even though we were all going our kind of separate kind of ways when it comes to kind of things we were doing. We were still close enough to where, like right now, doing Zaboys doesn't seem that weird.
Yeah.
And honestly, this feels normal. Like, I mean, as you said, it's like riding a bicycle or tandem bicycle for 3 people, and we're I think doing a pretty damn good job of it. I feel pretty comfortable behind the microphone again, and we haven't done this in 4 years.
Yeah, no, it feels natural, and even though we can't see each other, I still feel your presence. I still feel your presence, and I feel the presence of all you guys out there listening to us. Thank you for indulging us this past little bit and letting us give a little bit of personal kind of openness to you guys, because I mean, as we go along with the boys, we're going to be doing some fun things. We don't try to pass off that we're experts on anything, but
not at all.
we love to talk about pop culture. We love to talk about movies and culture in itself and things that are going on in the world. And we understand that our outlooks can bring different viewpoints that someone else might not have thought of. We understand that, but we also know that some people out there are a lot better off never ever speaking on some things. So there are some topics that we will definitely not do, and we're gonna have some fun, guys. I think that's what boils down to. This podcast will be fun.
Most definitely. I would say, honestly, something that we need to address when we come back here is probably something that might have hit all 3 of us really hard here just a few days ago. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. We lost a big name in the radio industry that, to some degree, might have influenced us all one way or another, and we should definitely, I think, kind of express our outlooks on that when we come back.
I think that's a really good idea. The next time you hear the boys, that sounds like a great first topic. Let's talk about the legend that is, and his not only impact on us, on how, because we definitely have been listening to him for, you know, ever when it comes down to just hearing him, but also when it comes down to how we view society, because I guarantee that some of the things that he has said over the years has hit our ears and has made us think certain things. We're talking about the great late Russ Martin. We'll talk about him next time and some other things on the Zaboys radio show.
Let's hit a quick segment right after this, just about him. I think it's important.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
We got time.
Let's do it all. We'll come back and talk about Russ Martin a bit here in just a moment.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
And we're back with Zaboys radio show here. We wanted to kind of talk a little bit about something that was a little bit important to the DFW area, maybe even national. Do you think this is a national story?
I think they were syndicated it to certain. Well, for a while he was. Because remember, at one point he took over for Stern, So I believe he might have been syndicated at one point.
Yeah, this could be a big national story.
Well, then we consider
I
Hot
think-
Tickets too. Hot Ticket was nationwide. They traveled down to Cancun, California, San Diego, things like that. So
yeah.
Explain to us what Hot Tickets was. Yeah, you know a bit more about that than I do.
Well, first we're actually talking about Russ Martin, the late
Yes.
great Russ Martin, who radio legend here in the DFW, who died yesterday or 2 days ago. I can't remember.
He died at 12:30 a.m. on. Let's see. What is today?
today's the
Sunday.
28th.
I think he died at 12:30 a.m. on
Oh.
Saturday, or at least he was found.
It was found, so probably
Or,
past Friday night, but
Yeah, on the 27th.
yeah. He was, for anybody who doesn't know, he was, I wouldn't call him a shock jock, but he was a afternoon talk show host for the radio here. 97 won the Eagle, had been for years, and then Hot Tickets was something he did before. Sorry, what now?
We lost you there for a second.
Oh, you lost me? That's weird. So what I was saying, sorry, was that Russ Martin was a talk radio show in the afternoons here in DFW on 97.1. Before that, he had a TV show called Hot Ticket that he did with JD Ryan, and they would just go around and do silly stuff and talk about what was going on throughout different states and different places and a lot of DFW. He had quite the little following.
So he's had a long career. I didn't know he did all that.
He built, he built quite the little entertainment dynasty there for a bit for himself. You know, there was a reason he was as big of a name as he was.
I remember him from the 105.3 days. I never really listened to him when he was on the Eagle. I remember him from Talk 105.3 and being a linchpin of that lineup whenever I was growing up. And he actually, you know, that lineup got me into talk radio. I didn't necessarily like his show, but definitely that lineup got me into talk radio, and I listened to him a lot, and I definitely took a lot of the unprofessional way that they did radio and kind of was like, man, this just sounds like some guys just doing stuff. Like, they don't, like, what is this? What is going on this radio right now?
I think
that's what I liked about it.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was the part of what he brought to radio that inspired me to want to do radio at one point and to get into entertainment and creating content and whatnot, was because seeing him just kind of be wild and himself with it and have this team that just did stuff and they just talked and they had a good time. It was, for a while there, it's kind of what I thought Zaboys was going to be when we first started, and then we took a different route, which was good because we needed to. And I'm sure you both remember, but you know, we even tried to prank them and that did not go over too well. But
no, it did not.
It did not go well. Yeah. I mean, actually, or did it go completely well?
It's
I set up the prank, by the way. I don't even remember exactly how the whole thing came about. But what did we do in the iHeartMedia studios that got the Russ Martin talking?
The idea.
You weren't even there, Chris. All that happened during the time that the three of us were talking about it was we thought it'd be funny to put army men around the place, and then say if found, give this to the Russ Martin.
Return
show.
to Russ Martin. Because the week before we'd left a silly declaration of war as a joke, like if it was like you think you're the king of radio, we will overthrow you. It was really silly. The idea was like we'll bring our masses to your gates, and so then the next week we started leaving little army men that people would bring back to his office, so that it was like we were bringing our masses. But we left him.
That's not what happened.
No,
that's not what actually happened, because somebody went around and cut off all the heads of every single army man.
Yeah.
And then it turned into an absolute disaster.
We spent an hour hiding these things, and someone went back, found them all, cut them off, and put them right back where we left them. It was ridiculous.
Put all the heads on closed desk.
They put the heads.
Wait, that's where the heads were?
They put them on closed
They were
desk.
in the bucket.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
somebody knew what we had done and then decided to prank us. I don't know.
I don't know if that was a prank on us as it was more of like a more prank on the Russ Martin show that was almost visceral. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I
We're-
think
Because
that nothing to do with us.
yeah, and
No.
that's what and whenever I got questioned about it, I said, "Look, yes, I put out all the army men
Mhm.
with one of my friends, Thorny. Sorry to
Mhm.
throw you under the bus.
No,
man,
you're good.
But that
I specifically wore my
But-
my Dan O'Malley disguise that day just so that nobody would question it whenever I was walking around the studio.
and for some reason, somebody else went around and did that. And whenever I got called out on, it, I was like, "Yeah, we put out all the army men, but we did not cut the heads
Yeah.
off of those. Somebody else did that." And then thankfully, we had put some on the second floor as well, because if we hadn't, because the ones that were on the second floor were the only ones that still had the heads on them.
Nice.
So whoever found them did not know that we had put some on the second floor.
Hmm.
That's the unsub. I've been watching a lot of Criminal Minds. Like, whoever cut off the heads and put them on closed desk, that's the person we need to find right now, because they probably have somebody's head in a cooler somewhere or something like that. 'Cause
We're
that's just
fairly
really
certain
weird.
that there was a board op that was her last day, and apparently she had been verbally assaulted at some point by one of them, and so we're fairly certain she's the one that went around and did it. But you know,
We can't prove that.
Yeah, we have no proof of that, obviously, but it was definitely weird. But again, you know, it was an idea that was established because it was like a let's be silly and give them some content so that one day we can work with these guys. Because like I said, I personally was inspired by him, but he was a good guy.
Russ Martin's the reason why I wanted to get into radio. So
Exactly. He's passed, and you know, may he rest in peace. He was a huge influence on this community. He did a lot for animals and you know, first responders, so he will be missed.
Yeah, I mean, he's a constant voice that has now been kind of silent, so that's always sad when that happens. Hopefully, everyone will get some healing from all of his fans and his friends and whatnot, and they'll be able to grieve for his loss. We'll be grieving the loss of any listeners that find what we do, you know, not to their liking. We'll grieve for you too. We'll cry a
No.
tear. But if you do like what you're hearing and you want to continue listening to the Zaboys radio show, come on back next time. We'll have a lot of fun and maybe play some games, you know, talk about some fun things, maybe talk about WandaVision because everyone's talking about that. You never know what's going to happen on the grab bag that is the Zaboys radio show. Thank you guys for paying attention. Thorny, say bye.
Bye.
Will, say goodbye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, guys. We'll see you guys later.
Be safe, everybody.
all right. Oh, sorry, I already cleared it. Well, no, actually. All righty. There we go. Sitting at 58 minutes.
Cool. That's not bad.
Yeah, that's what I figured right around there, because I think we were aiming for an hour, and I was like, well, let's go ahead and hit it. So thank you for bringing that up, Thorny, about bringing up Russ Martin. I forgot that. I think you were right about doing the quick last segment 4 for that. Mhm.
Yeah.
No, as a piece of shit. All right. Yeah, and
Yeah, he
I
has
couldn't,
own ways.
man. I couldn't damn the man. I really couldn't.
No,
Like
I definitely
he
can't.
do a lot of. even if he was a little rough around the edges, he was a good person.
Mm-hmm.